Magandang araw po. I have just concluded my participation in the ASEAN-Russia Commemorative Summit in Kazan, Russia, where I served as co-chair alongside President Vladimir Putin. The summit marked the 35th anniversary of ASEAN-Russia relations and offered a timely opportunity for ASEAN leaders and President Putin to take stock of our partnership and chart a course forward amidst an increasingly complex global environment. We exchanged views on significant regional and international developments, including the South China Sea and, of course, the situation in the Middle East. We also discussed ways to strengthen cooperation in areas that bear directly on the stability, resilience, and prosperity of our peoples. Our discussions reaffirmed the importance of deepening practical cooperation on shared security challenges such as terrorism, transnational crime, cybercrime, and other non-traditional threats, as well as sustaining ASEAN-Russia engagement across all community pillars through our existing mechanisms. The summit developed several key outcome documents that will shape the next chapter of our strategic partnership. These include the Kazan Declaration 2026, ASEAN-Russia Unity in Diversity, 35 Years Together. This articulates our shared vision for the future. The ASEAN-Russia Joint Statement on Cultural Cooperation and on Energy Cooperation, and the ASEAN-Russia Comprehensive Plan of Action 2026 to 2030, which serves as the principal roadmap for cooperation across the political security, economic, and socio-cultural pillars over the next 5 years. Our discussions also underscore the growing interconnections of regional processes across Eurasia. In this spirit, I had constructive engagements with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the Eurasian Economic Union, including through the Eurasian Economic Commission, covering inter-regional dialogue and practical cooperation in trade and investment, energy, security, connectivity, agriculture, tourism, and addressing transnational challenges. On the margins of the summit, I held a very productive bilateral meeting with President Putin, where we reaffirmed the friendship and cooperation between Russia and the Philippines as we look forward to the next 50 years in our relations. We discussed ways to further advance our bilateral partnership across trade and investment, energy security, agriculture, science and technology, education, and people-to-people exchanges. The Philippine delegation and I are grateful to the government and people of the Russian Federation for the warm hospitality and the successful hosting of this commemorative summit. Maraming salamat po at magandang araw po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, Mr. President. The first question from Tina, from GMA7.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, it was mentioned during your joint press conference with President Putin about energy cooperation.
Yes.
Were there firm agreements reached between the Philippines and Russia?
Well, in terms of, I don't know if in terms of energy that there have been no firm agreements, but merely an understanding that we will continue to develop what we had already started as a response to the oil crisis that was the effect of the war in the Middle East, which we are hoping will come to an end soon. But nonetheless, even if the war does come to an end, Philippines will still continue to look for so-called non-traditional partners in terms of the supply of petroleum products. And I can say that President Putin, the Russian Federation's government, was very open to any kind of suggestion that we do increase that engagement and that we look further into getting our supplies of petroleum products from Russia. The reason being is that what we have been doing with Russia in terms of providing oil products to the Philippines has been on a very ad hoc basis. Because nung pumutok yung gera, basta kung saan kayo makakuha, kung saan makakuha. Tignan ninyo, basta kausapin nyo lahat, maghanap tayo na makukunan natin ng petroleum products. One of those places was Russia. Pero, sige, one shipment here, one shipment there, saan idadaan? There was no real system in place. Now we are beginning to put that system in place, and I think it will be very good for the Philippines to have another assured lifeline when it comes to petroleum products. Should anything like this happen again, we don't know if the supply will again be suddenly be cut. But now we have many more options than we did before.
Sir, does that mean that we will regularly source from Russia?
Well, this is yet to be decided. There are many complications to that. It is not that simple as signing a trade agreement. There are, of course, political considerations, geopolitical considerations. But when the two parties are determined to make it work, I'm always very confident that it will work, and we will find a way around those challenges and those complications so that to make it a reality.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Kat?
Mr.
From ABS-CBN.
Hi, sir. Sir, yesterday, President Vladimir Putin mentioned that the Philippines and Russia's bilateral trade is only at around $500 million.
Yes.
That's about less than 3% of Russia's bilateral trade with ASEAN, which is at $18.13 billion.
It's close to 20 already.
Already, it increased. That was data from ASEAN as of 2024.
Ours is we've done a little better actually. Our trade levels now are up to around 5 billion. But malayo pa yan. There's so much potential. There's so many things that we can still do, and one of the results of the ASEAN-Russia Summit, of course, the Philippines took advantage of this to do also some bilateral, try to come to some bilateral arrangements with Russia. One of the things that we recognize is that there's so much more that we can do, because I suppose we are still have that kind of institutional momentum from the bipolar power arrangement around the world. Where we, the Philippines, were very much aligned with the United States on the other side of the Soviet Union, which is a similar situation for, at that time, all countries around the world. So we have shed that. We have shed that kind of idea, and we look at the world in a much different way than we did in 1976. When we first signed our diplomatic agreement with the then Soviet Union. And so we are adjusting that. And so, yes, because there are two aspects to it. One is that what we are already doing in terms of agriculture, petroleum, energy supply, food costs, etc. Beyond that, we now are available other sectors that we didn't talk about before. We talked a great deal about nuclear energy. We talked a great deal about space technology. We talked a great deal about AI, of course, as we always do. So there are many things in many areas that have become available to us that did not exist before. And beyond that, the level of trade and engagement in the traditional areas is still quite low because, again, of our continued attachment, perhaps, to the old way of doing business. But we are shedding that, and I think that gives us a great deal of potential in terms of developing our relation with Russia in terms of many different sectors. Ang pinag-uusapan dati lang, agrikultura, petroleum supplies, Ngayon, kasama na dyan yung energy stability, pati food supply, food exchange, yung import-export sa pagkain. We import from them. They hopefully we can export to Russia. Maraming areas talaga na nakita namin. One of the best areas was in agriculture. Of course, we talk about buying fertilizer from them. We've been buying wheat from Russia for many, many years. But beyond that, now we are talking about so many other areas that we didn't really discuss before, and I mentioned a few of them. But there's even more than that.
Sir, since you already mentioned that there is a push to pivot away from the polarity, from the geopolitical polarity, what was the tipping point that prompted you to veer away from Manila's traditional alliance with Washington?
It wasn't really it was the recognition that the world has changed. That is not the way the world is formed anymore. The traditional power structures and the traditional powers are no longer the powers that exist when, for example, the United Nations was formed right after the war. So the Philippines is just responding, adjusting to the new reality. And very early on, I think you will remember, I already said that the Philippines no longer subscribes to a bipolar world where you have to choose one side over the other. And during this summit, there was a lot of talk about multipolarity and the multipolar world that we now have to deal with, which may be a little bit more complex, but it also provides more opportunities than we had before. And that, I think, was one of the main results and findings that we arrived at during this summit.
Sir, last on this topic, on the bilateral trade with Russia, before we shift to other topics as well. The European Union and the US, as well as Singapore, it's no secret that they have imposed sanctions against Russia over its war against Ukraine.
Yes.
How concerned are you with a possible backlash or criticism from other like-minded nations that we have been partnering with because of concerns that the Philippines or ASEAN in general might be indirectly funding the war with Ukraine?
Oh, certainly that's a concern, and it's not something, as I said, as I've always said, the Philippines is one of the, if not the greatest, the greatest sponsor, supporter for peace, and not only in our region but everywhere else. And certainly that is not something that we would like to be accused of and would not like to be part of. We would certainly not want to be part of any system that furthers conflict anywhere in the world. And so those are the decisions those are the very some of them very nuanced decisions that we will have to be making in the future.
And what are the safeguards to make sure? What are the safeguards that to make sure that the Philippines will
Oh,
not
that's
be
very
part?
much a case-to-case thing. Depends on what area you're talking about. Because if in terms of the volume of trade, for example, that we have to get today with Russia, it comprises such a small part of their general revenue generation that it clearly cannot be said that it is funding conflict anywhere. So we will just have to be very careful to make sure that we are not inadvertently becoming part of a system that is encouraging war in any way.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next question from Josh Malimbano, Billionaire News.
Sir, I understand you and President Putin wants to explore people exchanges, tourism. Were you able to talk about any concrete plans in order to strengthen the tourism agreements, people exchanges between Russia and the Philippines?
Well, again, we haven't. We have not come to any finality in those terms. What arrangements that we have made with Russia have been quite. I use the term ad hoc. because that's exactly what they were. It was just we tried to get to the next part, get another shipload of products, commodities to the Philippines. Okay, after that we'll have to find another system. So that's what we have been trying to do now, and we have been made aware of so many mechanisms that are available to us that we didn't really think about before. And that was the main subject, actually, of our lunch meeting this afternoon, when the Russian Federation actually presented to the ASEAN leaders some of the areas and some of the mechanisms that are available that maybe we haven't taken full advantage of, that we should, and that's what we will continue to develop. In fact, I have asked both ASEAN to find ways to work with the Russian Federation as ASEAN, but also I have asked the officials in our own government to find ways to work in terms of bilateral agreements with Russia. So there's a big potential there that we really haven't explored before, but we will now. Yeah.
Siguro, sir, just to delve deeper on the tourism side lang.
Oo.
Meron ba kayong siguro po kahit the Ambassador Igor mentioned that
Yeah.
there is a currently ongoing application of Siberian Airlines po na magkaroon ng direct flights from Cebu and Manila to
Yes.
Siberian cities. Meron
Yes.
po kayong siguro plans, is the administration planning to express strong support with
Oh,
from
absolutely, yeah,
Cebu?
very strong. Yes, absolutely, sure. But we're not talking only about tourism. Of course, it's an important part, and we would like many more both ways, for more Filipinos to go to see Russia, for more Russians to come and visit the Philippines. But also any kind of travel, any kind of engagement at any level. If it's not G2G, even if it's purely commercial, even if it's some hybrid arrangement that we might decide to come to. These are all elements that will help the growth of our trade, and that's why it's so important to us that, number one, that there is already an agreement for the flight between Irkutsk and Kalibo, Klan. So that's a good start. And as I understand it, Cebu Pacific is already looking at further flights. And as we all know, the single most important determinant of the volume of tourism and travel between two countries are the number of flights. And the more flights you have, the more people come. It's really, the formula is very, very simple. And so we will continue to find ways. And this has become the effect of our policy of developing regional airports, so that our visitors, the visitors that come to the Philippines, need not go through Manila necessarily, unless they really want to go to Manila. But if they want to go to somewhere else, then we will start to see these regional airports becoming available as stops, so that tourists especially can go directly to their final destinations.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Sure.
So in connection with Joe Ash's question, were there talks with the Russian government about making Filipinos travel to Russia visa-free?
No, we never got that far. But if it's something, we did it with India, we've done it with China. If it's something that we feel will be advantage to both Russia and the Philippines, I don't see why not. That's become the method, the order of the day now. And we very much would like to increase our tourist trade. So that's something that down the road maybe we can look at. And I cannot find any serious objections to it.
Thank you, sir.
Kat?
Sir, on 2 points. First, will you bring home some investment pledges or actual investments to the Philippines from Russia? Were you able to speak with some Russian business leaders here?
Well, we're still very much at the starting point here. Like I said, some of the areas that we now see from the summit that are available to us. This applies not only to the Philippines, it applies also to the other ASEAN countries. We just it's not something that immediately springs to mind. But of course, with the Philippines, we always think our biggest trade partners are United States or Japan, and that's our natural tendency because of so many years of habit, if you want to call it that. So now and that again, ASEAN it fits into that mold. Not necessarily the United States, but the same thing that we have grown used to. A traditional way of doing business, of our trade discussions. But so we'll move it forward, and we have just started the process, and so there are no definite agreements that have been signed. But certainly the number one thing that we have been able to do is to identify sectors that we can further work on. That we can further develop, and that have, in my opinion, very serious potential for development, not only for trade, for people-to-people, cultural exchanges, all of these things. What all countries do to engage each other and to make the relationship stronger, deeper, more vibrant. And that's what we are hoping to achieve.
Sir, common considerations among investors, regardless of what nationality, would be energy prices in the Philippines, as well as political stability in the country. Talk has been rife about a cabinet reshuffle or a revamp once again.
Yeah, you keep talking about that. I don't know why.
well, there seems to be a lot of sources who keep on whispering. Malacanang has been filled with whispers. Take, for example.
Why? Who's going to be changed again?
According to reports with sources not being cited, DOH Secretary...
My favorite source of information, sources not being cited.
Sir, unfortunately, the Soto law protects us from citing our sources.
Okay,
So
fair
anyway,
enough.
sir, for example, DOH Secretary Ted Herbosa has been reportedly on his way out, allegedly to be replaced by former DOH Undersecretary Vergere.
Yeah.
Let's go on.
Well, I heard that too,
first.
but the most I hear about it is from you guys, not from within government.
So no cabinet reshuffle happening because everybody's on a wait-and-see mode on whether or not Ben-Hur Abalos will make a comeback into your administration.
And who will be removed?
Allegedly?
Yeah.
Well, there were a lot of options according to the Malacanang's information.
Okay. I'll be very candid. I'll be very frank with you. Of course, I want Ben-Hur to play a more active role in government. Of course, he has been there and he has been helping us in many ways, informally, privately. I wouldn't mind finding a way for him to help us in an official capacity. But to just because we want him to join, to become a more active, to play a more active part in government, doesn't mean it necessarily means that somebody else has to be. It's not a zero-sum thing in the cabinet that you have to remove somebody to gain somebody else. And I think we have a really good group of people in the cabinet right now, and we are working well together. And I don't see the need. I don't see why you keep talking. Why does this subject keep coming up?
Because a lot of people.
Because I have to tell you, when we sit around the table in meetings, we don't talk about that.
So, sir, definitely no cabinet reshuffle happening. Size of relief. Your cabinet secretary.
Who else? Reshuffle means more than one.
Yeah.
Who else?
There were also information from multiple sources claiming.
Multiple.
Of course, at least two. Anyway, sir, there are some sources who have been claiming that Secretary Remulla Johnvic in particular may be moved to another agency to be
Like which
replaced.
agency now will they go to?
Allegedly.
Oh, sige. Huwag mo na yung allegedly. Just tell us what we hear.
Sir, supposedly you were thinking of putting Benhur Abalos either to the DILG post or the DOJ post.
Yeah.
However, that's not yet happening. What's keeping you from actually appointing him to a post when you have already mentioned that you are quite interested in giving him an active capacity in your government again?
But again, it's counterproductive. You know, what you are trying to promote in government is stability and a steadiness of work, and that's an important part of governance. If you keep moving people around, they have to start learning the job again, and we just don't have time for that. The people who are sitting in their particular capacities, be it cabinet, be it some other agency, are for, as far as I'm concerned, are doing the job that they are asked to do, and have gained already the experience that they have learned lessons from, and to just keep moving people around for no really good reason, it makes no sense to me.
Thank you, Mr. President. Moving on to Josh.
Sir, with regard to the recent happenings in the Senate,
Oh, yes.
baka pwede na po makuha ang inyong comment on some of the things that happened yesterday. First po, sir, reaction po doon lang sa naging maayos yung naging special session po na ipinatawag ninyo kung saan naging bagong Senate President na po si Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. And the second one po, may mga bumabatikos po sa talaga kay Senator Escudero bilang presiding judge sa Senate Impeachment Court. Lalo na raw po ay meron siyang involvement allegedly doon sa impeachment case ni VP Sara, parang na-criticize siya before regarding that.
Second question first. What was I'm not sure what the batikos is for Cheese to become the
Presiding officer.
the trial manager or whatever.
I think when during the first impeachment proceedings with VP Sara, kung saan po parang maraming nag-criticize na dine-delay yung impeachment trial dun sa forthwith po na provision doon sa ating Constitution.
Yeah, but those are opinions. I don't think that reflects in any way on how he will do. As a matter of fact, the rules that were adopted by the Senate were the rules that Senator Cheese wrote during the last year's impeachment, when they were handling the last year's impeachment complaint. So, in terms of his ability to be able to run the trial, I don't think that's in doubt. If you remember, the reason that the impeachment trial last year came to a stop was because of a Supreme Court decision. And that had nothing to do with Senator Cheese. So let's go back to the first. Question.
Follow up before we
sige,
go back
sige,
to the
keep
first
going.
question. Sir, is safe to say po ba na you express your support na si Senator Cheese Escudero po yung maging presiding officer doon po sa impeachment ni VP Sara?
I will support whoever the Senate chooses. As long as the process that they undertook in making the choice is proper, is legal, is constitutional, then that's fine with me. I will definitely do whatever I can to work together with the legislature, with the Senate in particular, to make sure that things go smoothly, and that we move away from the chaos that we have been seeing in the Senate. And I hope that the new reorganization will achieve that.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last question from Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah po, yung reaction na lang po, sir, doon sa pagkahalal kay Senator Sherwin Gatchalian bilang bagong SP. And siguro reaction lang po na naging maayos naman yung daloy nung special session po kahapon.
Well, that is exactly what we have been all hoping for, that things become more orderly, na maging maayos ang takbo ng Senado. Dahil kung titignan ninyo, yung mga ibang priority bills na sinabi natin kung bakit ang special session ay dahil doon. First of all, talagang priority bill yun. That was identified months ago sa LEDAC. talagang nandiyon na yon. Pangalawa, karamihan, hindi, lahat dun tapos na sa House. So kailangan kunin na ng Senado para maipasa na, para maging batas. And that's what we were very worried about. And of course, the appointments, of course, DFA, yung appointments ng mga general, all of those just came to a dead stop nung nagkakagulo. Nung hindi pumapasok yung mga senador, di sila nagsesession, yun na nga, you all know, I don't need to go through that. Alam ng lahat ng tao kung ano yung nangyari. Sana naman sa paglagay ni Senator Sherwin bilang SP, ay mabalik naman tayo sa normal na patakbo ng Senado. And that they can take care of the business of government, the business of legislation, and all these necessary legislation that we listed to show that our priority. Some of them are from before, some of them are new in response to the oil crisis in the Middle East. Iba-iba, pero lahat kailangan. At lahat ng kailangan na ngayon. So, with those two elements, natapos na sa House, inaantay na lang ang Senado. Pangalawa, nasa gitna tayo ng oil crisis, na kailangan ng mga batas na yan, ay sana naman mapag-aralan na nila, madiskusyonan na nila na mabuti, and we can proceed with the normal conduct of governance. And before we end, I have an announcement to make. I don't know if people are aware of this, but 24 Filipinos have been in detention in Irkutsk for how many months now? 9 months. Wala tayong balita, hindi natin malaman kung ano ng kalagayan nila. As far as we know, hindi naman sila nakasuhan. Pero wala tayong makuha masyadong information hanggang ngayon. Nung nag-bilateral meeting kami ni President Putin, binanggit ko ito. At nagulat din siya. Sabi niya, hindi ko alam yan. Pag-aaralan namin, tignan namin ang nangyayari. Nung dinner kagabi, kinausap niya ako, sabi niya, nakita na namin yung sitwasyon. We found out where the 24 Filipinos are. We found out what the problem was with their case, with their situation. And first of all, he said, they have not been charged with any wrongdoing, but they have still been kept in detention for 9 months. So I said, as a request, especially speaking for the families, kung pwede naman, we can find a way that they be we get some information about them. Unang-una. Pangalawa, na makahanap naman tayo ng resolution. Siyempre, respetado natin ang batas ng Russia, respetado natin ang kanilang pamahalaan. Ngunit, kung may paraan, sana magawa natin. And ginawa niya na paraan. Sabi niya, I remember the last thing he said last night after we were talking about it. He said, don't worry, we will find a way. We will find a way to fix this problem. And now, the 24 Filipinos will be released. They are ready for deportation tomorrow by 5 p.m. So those 24 will be going home, back to the Philippines, and back to their families. Okay.
That's it. Thank
All
you
right.
very much. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Salamat, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.